Why when something go wrong, we immediately start thinking worst case scenario in our mind? Like, today was rough. Let me tell you about today. Let's go. Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Ryan Inspires, aka the little engineer that could, and welcome back to the YouTube channel where the main goal is to engineer success in your life. Now, it's story time with a lesson. Now, every time I come on here and it's story time, I just realized that it has something to do with my car. And you can go check out that last video. I think it was me getting a ticket and me explaining that experience and what I learned, right? But this time, we're talking about my day, and yes, my car has something to do with it. So, today was a day, y'all, and I ain't gonna lie. Today was a day of tests and trials, but it's alright. So, just a little background, right? My wife, Michelle, she's changed her work schedule. So, she's going to work an hour earlier so she can be home an hour earlier in the evenings, right? Which means your boy is single papito, lone wolf in the mornings, getting Remi ready and taking him to school, right? Because she leaves early. By the time he's getting up, she's leaving, right? So now Remi is not a bad kid by any stretch, right? Like, he's usually good. But today, the boy decided today was the day. And it wasn't even as soon as he got up to, he waited. And it's not like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like this is a normal thing, a recurring thing, but here's what happened. So he got up, everything was fine, he ate his breakfast, I got him ready, we were ready to go to school. And when it's time to go to the door, he's just chilling, playing with his dinosaurs. I'm like, Remi, time to go, put your jacket on, put your gloves on, let's go. I go on, I start the car, come back inside, same thing, right? I'm just like, bruh. Alright, Remi, time to go. So eventually he gets in the car. I'm like trying to explain to him, Remi, if we don't leave a certain time, then you get to school late. If you get to school late, you're not gonna get that perfect star, whatever it is that they get for coming to school early, right? So I'm trying to explain to him, and he's like, yeah, he's barely listening, just kind of answering under his breath. I'm just like trying to stay calm. So we get to the line and we pull up to the drop off, right? And I say, Remi, all right, it's time to get out of the car. Love you, pray, whatever we need, right? He's about to come out. He's just like this. I'm just like, Remi, time to get out. And he's just like, I'm just like, bruh, come on, get up, get out the car. We're keeping other cars back from dropping off their kids. So eventually he gets out the car, and I'm just like, ooh, all right, this morning started off a little bit rough, but it's all right. So when these things happen with Remi, I swear, every single time I have to run through all these scenarios of where I thought I could have been better. It always happens. Like, I always think about, I could have been more patient. I could have not shouted. And I feel bad because I'm like, I don't want to be shouting. I don't want to seem like I on you. But it's like, bro, if I'm not on you, then you don't do what you need to do. So I'm thinking, anyway, I'm driving to work. I feel like I went over road rumbles, right? And when you're going to work, you're zoned out, especially if you go the same route every day, right? Kind of zoned out, and I was like, oh, did I swerve? I was like, I don't think I swerved. So I drive and I feel like that shake again. I'm like, alright, the car definitely skipped just now. Why was it shaking? Ignore it, right? I reach right up on a car in traffic, and my car is literally doing the Harlem Shake. All right. So at that point, I was like, I have a decision to make. Either I continue going to work, shut off the car, and possibly it never start again, or I bust this U-turn, or take the exit and go back towards Kia and figure this out, because I have a Kia. So I decided to go back to Kia. The entire ride to Kia, bro, I'm driving like I ain't gonna lie, it's 47. I looked at the speedometer. I'm driving 47 in a 75, I think it was, or a 65. And I'm watching everybody passing, shoom, shoom, just like, okay, yeah, and I wish my car could have gone that fast right now, but I didn't want to put no extra energy on this car, bro. I actually took off the radio. I drove in silence. No radio. The heat was off. Good thing I have on my jacket. And it was just like nothing extra was on in the car. Because I'm like, bro, you have to preserve your energy until we get to Kia and they fix you. So I got to Kia, hop out, and I say, yo, right now my car doing the Harlem Shake. We need to figure this out. The check engine light is on. Then they said, well, we'll have to do diagnostics and it's going to take 7 to 10 days to figure out what is what. I'm like, what? So before, first mistake of the day, well, besides the Remi thing, I leave. I was just like, all right, whatever. Because in my mind, I just hear 7 to 10 days. I'm like, bro, there's no way you can take 7 to 10 days with my car. So I go to Midas and shout out to them. That's where I usually go to get my oil change. When there, specifically the one I went to, shout out to them because they always take care of me. Hop on and let him know, hey, check engine light on, idling very rough. Now, before all the car enthusiastic people come for me, I am not a car person. No, yes, I'm a mechanical engineer, but I am not into cars. I could do the bare minimum and that's it, right? And I could probably learn it because I feel like I could learn anything. But I get there, hop out. The man say it's he has to do a diagnostic and he'll let me know what's going on. Which means I have to wait in the lobby. Now, this is the part of the story that I was talking about earlier in the intro. I sat in that lobby for 25 minutes thinking about the worst scenario that could possibly be for this car. So I'm looking and I'm thinking, all right, the engine dead. It's seized up. I have to get a new car. Okay, if I down the rabbit hole I go. I'm on the phone, on Google, like, hey, my car's shaking. What could it be? Some people say the engine is not good anymore. Throw away the car. Get a new car. You're seeing the worst case scenario. So my emotional intelligence at that time is at an all-time low because I immediately go to worrying about worst case scenario for the next 20 minutes. I'm thinking of, okay, if I don't have a car, I still have responsibilities. I still have to pick up Remi, drop Remi, go to work. How am I going to do that? Okay, maybe I could rent a car. All right, that's going to cost this much. Damn, I wasn't budgeting to rent a car for a whole entire month. I'm already down the rabbit hole already. I'm going clear. And it's not like I could just take my wife's car because, as I mentioned earlier, she's not working earlier and she's working where she works is nowhere close to where Remi and I go to school. Where Remi goes to school and I work. So in my mind, I'm just like, all right, okay, if I need to buy a new car, you don't just like waltz into a dealership and be like, okay, I want that one. Like, I'm not there yet, right? I can't just walk in and be like, I want that, let's go. It takes some type of research and planning, at least in my stage of my life right now. So I'm thinking, all right, I'm going to need at least a week to do some research and figure out where I could get a new car, what kind of car I want, pricing, how it's going to go, and down the rabbit hole. So just straight worrying, stressing. And then I caught myself and I thought, yo, you don't even know what the problem is. You Google a bunch of things, and from what you Google, it could be anywhere from as something minor to major. It could be anywhere costing you from 100 to 10,000, whatever it is, right? Or 5,000, whatever the range was. But then I took a deep breath and I just say, all right, look, it is what it is. Whatever is going to be, right? So eventually, I calm myself down and I try to just sit and wait to hear, right? Like, I know it's easy to just go straight into the worst case scenario. And I could have feel my emotions when I was in that mindset of worst case scenario. My emotions, I'm feeling the anger. Why me? Why now? It's January, Christmas just finished. And then I'm also feeling the emotions of, like the responsibilities, the heaviness that come with that. Like, okay, I still have things to do. I'm feeling sad because I have about to spend all this money on this car. So I'm thinking of all these things, right? But eventually, the guy comes out and he says, hey buddy, we have bad news, but so I'm just like, oh no, the engine. Then he shows me four spark plugs. And I remember I said, don't come for me with the car thing. I haven't changed my spark plugs in that car ever. So he was like, yeah, these four spark plugs need to change, this needs to change, and this needs to change. So it turns out it wasn't even thousands of dollars. It was just a few $100 that I needed to fix this car. So I was like, all right, cool, we good. And God still worked out. Like I was still able to go to work. My coworker came and got me. My coworker actually brought me back to get the car. They fixed the car in one day. I have a car to drop Remi to work tomorrow, to school tomorrow, and for me to go to work tomorrow. So I just want y'all to see that you have to have the self-awareness to not go down that rabbit hole of worst case scenario. Because when you're in that state of worst case scenario, you just like where your mind goes, your energy goes, right? So you start thinking worst case scenario, now your energy starts being all off, now you're depressed, or now you're sad, or now you're angry. And what the scenarios you're making up in your mind hasn't even come through yet. And most of the times it never comes through. So you just worked yourself up. Like I worried for 25 minutes straight today about things that I did not need to worry about at that time. Could have used my energy, my mind for something else. But we live and we learn, right? Engineering success one day at a time. So I want you to think about a time when you were waiting on a diagnosis or waiting on, I mean, not saying like for your car or even for yourself, or waiting for results of something, and you went straight to worst case scenario, or you call your wife, you call your friend, they weren't answering, and you just went straight worst case scenario, like, oh, they're probably kidnapped, or something like that. You start thinking the worst case, and now you worked up about something that is not the case. So I just want us to take a step back when we're in that moment, in those moments, take a deep breath, calm down, and remember that even when you have these things going on that are not ideal for you, like it's not an ideal situation you might be in, just remember that one, you jump into assumption, you jump into conclusions, and you're assuming, and most likely your worst case scenario may not even happen. Even if you're in the storm and you think of it and your worst fears do come to pass, remember that God is still working in the background, and all things work together for the good for those who love God. So just have faith, have trust that it will still be okay. And also remember that you have to be self-aware. You have to be self-aware that you're not allowing your mind to take your energy to a certain place, and you may not be able to control the thoughts that come to your mind, but you could control how long those thoughts stay and linger in your mind. So that was my story time. But an update is the car, I drove it off the shop, went to pick up Remi. Turns out the check engine light came back on, and when I called them, is another issue with the fuel pump now. Go figure. So still have to fix that, but thank God the car I'm able to drive it, I'm able to do what I need to do, and we'll go back and sort that out another day. But yeah, remember to be self-aware. Remember not to jump to conclusions and assumptions, and not allow your mind to take your energy somewhere. You can't control the thoughts coming into your mind per se, but you can control how long they linger in your mind. And yeah, remember that, we're human. You'll have those emotions, you'll have those feelings, but don't stay there, don't linger there. And all things work together for those who love the Lord. Final part of it, remember that God working in the background for you. So have trust, have faith that it will all work out as that song goes, right? So That's my story. That's how today went. And yeah, today was one of those days. But we still going. Head high, chest out. You already know. It's your boy, Ran Inspires, the mindset engineer. And you know the vibes, trying to engineer our mindset so that we can become the best version of ourselves. I'll see y'all in the next video.